All right, hello and welcome everybody to a wonderfully wacky and wet race here at Silverstone. It's PPR Esports here on a Monday night, and in the Eastern time zone, it's about 9 p.m. That's where Burlsy and I are, and that's right, it is Kurbssy and Burlsy in the booth for this evening's wet race. Burlsy, how we feeling?
Oh man, I am looking forward to this race. Obviously, after joining you last weekend, it was a great time. We barely even had any moments to really step back and take a breath. But Silverstone, wet. It's a classic combination. It's a classic track, obviously built on a airfield way back in the 50s. And really
excuse
looking
me,
forward to this.
hold on one moment. The game capture's not quite up just yet. There it should be. Apologies for that. Not sure what happened there. It should be popping up in just a moment here. Excuse us as we're still getting underway in qualifying, so not missing anything just yet. Should be up momentarily, and Bros, if you could double check the audio's coming through, everything's going crazy on me.
Yeah, give me just a second. Let me alt tab here real quick, and I'll.
Everything should be okay. It looks like we have an Alfa Romeo at the front of the pack so far. Is that going to be Cody Lawrence? It is. That's Mr. Cody Lawrence there, filling in it as a reserve once again. And Cody Lawrence leading the way in qualifying here, sitting P2 overall in the standings, but he's not garnering any points for that Alfa Romeo team as he's filling in as the reserve driver. Burlsy, we watched him race last week, had an absolutely insane last lap there. He went from P10 to P2 with 2 laps to go, and that is something that you do not see every day, especially in league racing.
Yeah, obviously the last part of that race was absolutely insane. I mean, the whole race really was absolutely insane, and to watch what unfolded there at the end of the race and last week just kind of blew my mind. It left me speechless almost. I really didn't know what to say. I couldn't get my thoughts straight even, and to fully process all that stuff and get it figured out, it was really great fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we're on board with Cody Lawrence here, let's see what kind of different lines he might take in the rain. It even looks like late braking in the rain there, but it's still a great line coming through. And Cody Lawrence might be on for a decent lap already in qualifying, only a second lap out here. And this kind of reminds me of a certain F1 race that happened over the weekend with a bit of wet weather in qualifying and a wet weather race that was, I think I can confidently say, the worst race to ever exist.
Oh, man.
Excuse me for saying race, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't really a race. That was the problem. That it really wasn't a race. Obviously, we had a few incidents throughout. I guess not incidents. We had a couple laps there during the race, I guess you could say, during the time frame of which that event took place. Now, something that I actually saw on the stream or during the race, supposed race, was there was actually a kart race going on, and they actually took highlights of it, which was really funny to me.
I did see that. As we have our first time at 35-1, but yeah, I did see that karting as well, and it looked pretty fun, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked absolutely fun. I mean, we even saw a guy in the gravel pit that was really funny to me. And Biggles, I see you out in chat. I actually did not open up my team telemetry software, so I don't know the exact forecast of the race. I really kind of wanted to add to the suspense of this event because we had an exciting week 1. We come into Silverstone, a historic track, and we get the classic Silverstone duo, and that is wet weather and a very fun race.
Wow, look at all these times being set here, all in the 37s. Well, that's except for a 35-1 from Cody Lawrence and a 36-2 from Creamy Johns. But that lap from Cody Lawrence is looking mighty fine so far. Perpetual Rain, with a very fitting name for today's race, is sitting there in P2 with a 35-8. I see a yellow flag there, but Burlsy, I don't think that's anything important to look at right now.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing. I think it was just somebody letting another car by. You can see there at the Sector 3, people getting ready to start their laps. And you can see right up at the top, I mean, Cody Lawrence is 7/10 clear of the Ferrari car that powers this Alfa Romeo. He is doing a fantastic job of really just gapping himself from, or, putting space between him and any potential competition And something that I also want to think about is if it is going to be a wet race, how many of these drivers have on their wet setups for this qualifying session? Obviously, if it's going to be a dry race, most of these guys are out in this wet weather condition in their dry setups, which makes things that much more difficult. Now, if they're having a little bit of a wet weather setup, they're going to be able to fly through this weather really like it's not, well, I'm not going to say dry, but roughly a 10-second difference between the dry times and the wet times.
Yeah, that was, I'm looking here. Sean Moriarty, double OT with a great lap there. Just went P2 in the Aston Martin. Sean Moriarty finished P11 last week. I don't think that's going to be representative of his pace. Sean Moriarty is a very quick ACC driver, and I think that will translate over well to F1 here, and we might see some good pace from him, especially as the season goes on. As Perpetual Rain goes provisional P1 with a 34.9. That's going to be a tough time to beat here, but I'm seeing a purple sector 2 from Ruda right now in the Alpha Tauri, and that's who I'm on board with at the moment.
Yeah, I'm also seeing that Mr. Lawrence, K. Lawrence, I forget names, I do apologize for that one, but Cody Lawrence, there it comes to my head. It's actually Shay B gets disqualified from the session for facing the wrong way. That was really interesting, but anyways, like I was saying there a second ago, Cody Lawrence is currently 6 tenths up on his time. So that 6-7 tenths gap that he had to, I believe it was Creamy John's and Perpetual Rain, that Perpetual Rain just abolished. Cody Lawrence is about to come through and absolutely destroy that time out of the park, as actually he locked up there. There's a little bit of commentator cursing there. We'll see what he comes across the line with. He's getting ready to. That's going to be a 34-3. Wow.
That's a time there from Cody Lawrence that drivers are going to be chasing for a while. The main driver to be chasing it right now and to keep an eye on is Mr. Becky B here. He is our race 1 winner from Bahrain. Now we're on board with the Williams driver as he's setting his first qualifying time for this evening. 8 minutes into this qualifying already as well, so it's not leaving himself too much room here, but found an open spot on the track here, and you can see only one driver really in front of him that he might need to keep an eye on. Other than that, he's going to have clean air abound, and it's all down to him in the track.
Yeah, Becky B was the fastest in last week's session. I just saw him there get a little bit slippery sideways there out of cops.
Ooh.
But he's handling Maggots and Beckett's all right. I do see a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm not really sure what that is, or I guess it's Sector 3.
It looks like an Alpine there, or a Williams that just reset to the pit lane, so shouldn't be an issue. But here's Becky B down to the final couple of corners here. And cruising around, he's actually maintaining a great line there as Becky B. And as he heads down towards the penultimate corner here, we can see Becky B really needs to get on the throttle well here and cross the line. Let's see where Becky B goes. It's going to be in the 34s. It's a 34.4, just 1/10 off of Cody Lawrence, the provisional pole sitter right now here in this Alfa Romeo. But Becky B posting a time that Cody might need to watch out for.
Yeah, Becky B just comes in out of nowhere as Cody Lawrence sets another fastest lap in the session. Just a 10th improvement between that time and the last time. But Becky B coming out of nowhere, essentially, throwing down that 34.4. We'll see if those times continue to tumble throughout this qualifying session. I'm getting my letters all mixed up, my words mixed up. I swear to God, there's a form of mouth dyslexia.
Now, Burlsy, when I'm taking a look here, Cody Lawrence just set that on 3-lap-old intermediates, whereas Becky B's were fresh. Do you think that's a benefit towards Cody or Becky B there?
It's really tough to say without really driving the track. The reason that is, in the wet weather, it's a lot more of driver-specific driving. And yes, the tires do help when they are fresh, and you can tell that difference. But usually the difference that you're going to spot when you're changing to the fresh intermediates is not going to be as aggressive as it, say, would be switching from like mediums to softs or anything really in the dry switching tires. You can almost feel that grip instantly. Now, you can feel a little bit more grip, but it's not as exaggerated of a difference when you're fitting on some new wet weather tires. Cody Lawrence, a couple more laps on his tires than Becky B isn't going to provide too much of a difference, but I do expect him to come back out with some fresh inters and really drop that time down a bit more.
Yeah, and I'm back on board with Becky B here as he's going out for another flyer right now. You can see really accelerating through the first sector here. And let's see as he heads down the first straight to mess with on this track, of many really. We'll see where he fares in relation to his first time that he set out here. A 134.3, very quick in the wet. Only 3 drivers in the 34s. Let's see as he goes through Sector 1. He's 9/100ths up there, so definitely improving. And that would actually be enough to promote him into P1. So if he can just manage his times in Sectors 2 and 3 from his original lap, this might be on for a pole position here for Becky.
Yeah, Becky B, a very quick driver. I was actually trying to change my camera options there as I have my wrong camera options on. But Becky B, yes, a very quick driver. We saw that last week, taking the pole, taking the fastest lap and the win, I do believe, if I'm remembering correctly. We're going to see what he comes across the Sector 2 timing line with, and he is currently up 2/10 on his time. So currently surpassing the time of Cody Lawrence. He's just got Stowe, Vale, and Club to maneuver, and this theoretically should be a provisional pole for that Williams driver.
Yeah, let's see as he winds down here. Ooh, locks up on the fronts in the intermediates. Not a big surprise there, especially in these changing conditions too. As the track, starts to resurface. He lost the rear a bit. It's not going to matter. He goes provisional pole there by about 1/10 of a second. Now, Cody Lawrence has fit on some new, fresh intermediate tires here. And what will that mean as we get into his last lap that he's going to set for this race? We'll tune into a couple of other drivers right now as I look about. Fluffy Dave seems to be setting a decent time here coming through Sector 2.
We'll see what this Mercedes driver can do. He's getting ready to cross that timing line, and he is currently up almost 3/10 of a second. Can move him up into the top 3. But like we saw Becky B, it's so easy to lose time here in this last sector, even though there's so few corners. It's not quite like Spa Sector 1, where you only have essentially 2 corners. But, is there. Sideways, Fluffy Davis spun it going into Vale. That is effectively lap done and over with. We'll see if Stoney, I do believe that was in the Red Bull, may have got not the run that he wanted out of there, but he is starting a lap nonetheless.
I was going to say he's about 15 seconds down on his time, so I don't think that was a flyer. Here's Alea Mamamoto here. I wish I could figure out how to pronounce this name correctly, but I'm just going to keep rolling with it. This is the teammate to Becky B, trying to set a lap to compete with his teammate. Currently sitting on provisional pole position with 4.5 minutes to go here. Becky B P1, Cody Lawrence P2, Creamy Johns up there in P3 with a yellow flag in Sector 2. That's going to be well behind Mamamoto here in the Williams. And let's see, can the Williams this year bring home the Constructors? It's a team that's very well put together, at least in the virtual world, as opposed to the real life world, though they did pick up a podium. And here comes Alea Mamamoto across the line, going to jump up into P9. A decent lap there, only about 1.5 seconds off of his teammate, and in the wet, that is a pretty decent time.
Yeah. And I want to add something to your little podium statement there for the Williams. This was actually the second. Well, it's weird saying that Spa was a race because, yes, it really wasn't a race. But that is 2 races in a row where Williams have scored double points.
I thought the same thing. Quite interesting.
Yeah,
quite
Creamy
interesting.
Creamy Johns in the Mercedes, who was outdone by one of those Williams drivers. Actually improving his time just a little bit. He's still at a 34.8. I'm looking forward to Cody Lawrence's times to see what he can put down. He's
on a second out lap right now, just FYI. He's warming up those tires one more time. He's not using any ERS. So
yeah,
I think
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I looked at that time up there. Trying to find somebody. Double OT is currently up on his time just by 0.02 of a second, though. Keep an eye on that Aston Martin driver. Now coming through cops, there is a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm not positive if that was a crash. All cars seem to be moving, so I don't believe so. Double OT now through Maggots and Beckett's. Looks like he held a good line and nice and extra on the power. Actually, really good on the power. He's improving just a little bit more, actually 0.05 more of a second. Taken out of that sector. We'll see what Double OT can do here now through Stowe, as he gets a little bit loose. It seems like everybody that I go on with seems to start to slide.
Yeah, I didn't want to comment on it, but through Vale, it seems like a lot of drivers are having difficulties here. It's still a 35-2, 4/100s up on his time, and his teammate Jamie Lawrence in the top 5, so it looks like pretty good provisional starting position for the Aston Martin team. Mercedes team as well in P3 and P6 there. Now looking up towards the top, Cody Lawrence is out on a flyer right now. He's attempting to catch Becky B, who's within a 10th of his current time. A 134.2 is where Cody's at. A 134.1 is what he needs to beat to get provisional pole position here from the one-time race winner, Becky B. Won last week in Bahrain, took an early lead to Cody Lawrence, and this looks like a very quick lap here. And again, if you hear me during the race calling Cody Lawrence some idiot, that's because that was his name up until we started this season. He went by it himself, self-proclaimed some idiot, and there he is locking up the front just a bit. And as he comes through club corner, let's see what Cody Lawrence is going to be able to do. As he crosses the line here, Cody Lawrence into the 33s, a massive margin there. A 33.7 is absolutely gigantic there, 4/10 quicker than Becky B there in P2. Let's see what the Williams driver can do, Burlsy.
Yeah, half a second up on that time. I was going to tell you to stay on board with Cody Lawrence because I believe that was Perpetual Rain, who has retired from the session there after turn 1. Becky B has finally started his flying lap. He just got out of sector 1. He's only 300ths up on his time. Now, that is a lot of time difference between what some idiot set and what Becky B has currently. 4/10 almost to the T is what he needs to improve up into that provisional pole. See him there really sliding that car around. Cops really pushing it. And we're going to keep on board with this Williams driver. He's taking really nice, clean lines through Maggots and Beckett's. He's strong on the power in the exit. And how much time is he going to be up? I don't think this is going to be enough for pole. He is not even a 10th up on his time. I don't think he's actually going to be able to get back to the line in time to start another lap. This could be a pole for some idiot, a.k.a. Cody Lawrence.
And go ahead and take us through the end of this one. This is going to be thrilling.
Yeah, Becky B now through the Vale and Club. He's getting a little
it's a huge spin! Absolutely massive there from Becky B. Dumped it going across the line.
No, Cody Lawrence actually had to back up there at the end. I believe that was Fluffy Dave that retired. Not positive as to what was going on with that AI, but Creamy John's now currently sitting at P3 in the fight for this qualifying, but now going through Maggots and Beckett's. We'll see if he's improving on his time. He is just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough to catch these two front runners.
No, I don't think it's going to be enough at all. I'm looking about and seeing if there's any other drivers to keep an eye on. Looks like Jamie Lawrence just behind Creamy Johns here is trying to set a quicker lap as well. See if he can jump the order a bit there. Chazarazzi Gabby there jumps up to P12, finishes in that position. Oh, and here comes Creamy John sliding through Club and really losing the rear there. He does improve by a 10.5, a good lap. And here comes Jamie Lawrence as well, a 135.0. Doesn't jump him up the order at all. It looks like Stoney is still out on track right now, and he's 3/10 up on his time. But what just happened there? I saw him ghosting through what looked to be another car out on track, and across the line, Stoney jumps up into P13. We have Red Hornet out as well, up 6/10 on his time. He needs a bit more than that to really challenge for any positions, and Red Hornet across the line does jump Yoda GG right as soon as the checkered flag comes out.
Yeah, I believe that is going to be your qualifying session, and boy, did that come to a very, very hectic ending as Becky B spun it across the line. Cody Lawrence actually just behind him, had to slam on his brakes because of the, I believe, AI'd car of Fluffy Dave, as well as that Williams car. But yes, that is your qualifying session. We'll get through through the order here in a minute, whenever that does show up.
And there it is, Burlsy. Go ahead with the order for the race.
Yeah, Cody Lawrence, a.k.a. some idiot, a 33.7, the only man in the 33s out on track. takes your pole. Becky B in P2 with Creamy Johns rounding out that third spot. Now Perpetual Rain and Double OT will round out the top 5, followed by the Hoskar of Godzilla, Jamie Lawrence, Fluffy Dave, Ali Yamamoto, and Sean Moriarty round out that top 10. Ruda, Chazaraz, Stony, Shabam, and Seajoss will be next. Oh, is everything disappeared for me?
Yeah, it does jump away from you very quickly there. It's quite unfair, but as we get into the race, let me switch over cams real quick, and we'll be right back. All right, apologies for that. We are back here. I just realized I left my name tag up the entire time there and was trying to get rid of it, but the F1 game on PC does not like when you alt-tab at all, especially while broadcasting, but nonetheless, we're underway here. It's Kurbssy and Burlsy in the booth with Cody Lawrence and Becky B on the front row. That's going to be a battle to watch here. I'm also interested to see what the Aston Martins can do. Sean Moriarty, another driver to keep an eye on there, starting P10. And down the order a bit, the McLarens, another team. Keep a close eye on them, as Mach Speed, I believe, making his debut for the season here.
No, yeah, I don't remember seeing Mach Speed there in the last race. Funnily enough, I did see him in the qualifying section. He was doing donuts in the little grass section right after the Vale chicane. Between, like, Vale and the start pit lane, or the start finish line. Must have spun out. He got sideways. He couldn't get his car straight. He just said, screw it, I'm retiring. I'm not messing with this car. And that was my entertainment for part of my funny entertainment for the qualifying session.
Beautiful. So moving down the order a bit here, we did miss outside the top 15 there. So I'll just jump down. It's Red Hornet there in P16. Yoda GG in P17. Mach Speed in P18, Rogue in P19, and Shay B rounding out the top 20. Now, Shay B, another driver to keep an eye on. Remember, I believe he was in the top 8 or so when he was disqualified from qualifying there, and not sure exactly what had happened to him. But another thing, especially to keep an eye on, is the tire choice for today. Softs and mediums are the two options that the drivers went with, and the top 2 starting on mediums, but Creamy Johns on the softs might be looking for an early push here.
Yeah, Creamy Johns has to get by Becky B and Cody Lawrence and just try to get as far away as he can. Those soft tires, they are going to last him a decent portion of this race, but we both know just how overpowered it seems like that alternate strategy can be. Now, if Cody Lawrence and Becky B can keep up on those mediums and keep good pace, when they switch to softs, they will be flying at the end of this race, and we're just getting ready to get underway with that.
Here we are looking to get underway for the start of Race 2, Season 5 here at PPR Esports North America. We're on board with Cody Lawrence as he lines up on the front of the grid. We have red lights coming on, which means they're coming out shortly. 5 red lights on and 5 red lights off very quickly there. And let's see who gets off well. One of the Hondas at the back got away very well there. The Alfa Romeo of Cody Lawrence getting through the first corner cleanly there. And there goes Creamy Johns up the inside of the Williams there. Is he able to make an overtake? It doesn't look like it. Is he going to sneak the nose in there? Not quite. And there's a Haas getting all kinds of squirrely there. I think that's Sean Moriarty dropping down the positions a bit. And look at this start. Just very clean all around the order.
Yeah, no serious accidents there at the start, which is always what you love to see. I really thought Creamy Johnson was gonna make an aggressive move there into turn 1. He got a really, really great start compared to those around him. And right now, he is putting tons of pressure all over Becky B. There is a red or yellow flag. There's a red car, Red Hornet, currently off on the side of the track, and he looks to get that car back underway. I'm not sure if he's got any wing damage on that Ferrari car, but Cody Lawrence still doing a great job of leading this pack away. I'm still don't have my Delta, so I'm not really sure as to what's going on there, and I can't see anything, actually. That's weird.
Yeah, no worries at all. I'm still jumping around a bit. I was seeing Shay B jumped up 5 positions at the start of the race already. It looks like Chazarazi Gabby there, moving up the order, trying to make an overtake on the AlphaTauri there. Not quite close enough just yet, up towards the front. Becky B being challenged by Creamy Johns there for that P2 position. Creamy Johns needs to be careful here to stay away from the front wing of that Mercedes coming through these corners. Cody Lawrence first across the line for the first lap, and here's where we get into the beautiful Codemasters glitches.
Yes, the lovely telemetry glitch. We're going to do our best to stay on board with everybody that is in these fights. You can see now Creamy Johns, that Mercedes driver, really bringing it to Becky B. Something that Becky B wasn't quite used to until the end of that first race, or at least that second half when he was on those, I believe, medium tires. Creamy Johns still, unfortunately, not able to get in front of Becky B, as the tow from the car in front really helps him.
And it's happened.
And
I'm trying to find my way. There it is. All right, back on board as they're coming through. And Exotic, I'm sure you did see that. As we get to lap 2, there are many glitches abound as we have an Alfa Romeo of Yoda all the way at the back of the pack. And look at Becky B going way wide there. Go ahead.
I was going to say the fight for P7 between OOT and Fluffy Dave is really intensifying. They were side by side through Cots. There is a car off Trek. I believe that's Shabam down in P17. Now currently all the way down to P19. And yes, I can see they're out in chat. Yoda saying that is again his PC froze from recording while racing. So hopefully he gets back in there soon. I will get an invite out to you. And just, man, so much action right now. Fight for P10 between Sean Moriarty and Chazarazagab. That is such a weird name to say. But Cody Lawrence setting the fastest lap of the session so far. Creamy John still pressuring Becky B. And the McLaren of Chazaraz really putting pressure on the Haas of Sean Moriarty.
Yeah, one of my favorite drivers out here just because of the name. I used to go with Chazaraz Gabby there. Now it's Chazarazi Gabby there because it just vibes a little bit better. You can see trying to do the little switchover maneuver on the Haas driver in front. Look how close the front wing is to the rear of the Haas there. He's going to get a good run down the straight here and see if he can make an overtake. Sean going for the early defensive positioning. Lines himself up nicely in an early turn in there from the McLaren. Almost caused mayhem between the two drivers. I also see out there in the chat world that there is Swifty Salmon from the UK here, probably in the stands for this evening's race. Love to have you here.
Yeah, he'll have to let us know how that full capacity is doing, as we just have fights all over. It is a little difficult to get moves done here at Silverstone. OOT really challenging and wanting that P7 back from Fluffy Dave. He was doing a great job.
You were looking at the McLaren, I know it.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, and there's a move actually with the McLaren. He's going around the outside of the Haas. Is he going to be close enough to do a switchback maneuver here on Moriarty? I bet you he's going to attack in the next few corners or so, because it just seems that Chazarazi Gabby here he just seems that much quicker, as Creamy John sets the fastest lap of the race so far, which means he's most likely catching the driver in front there of Becky B. About 5.
Oh, he went into the pits and retired. Dang it.
Oh, and there's another car off coming through the second corner there. It's one of the Aston Martins. And you're right, it's OOT coming back out on track right now. And I'm wondering if he had made contact with Fluffy Dave. It doesn't appear so. Who else was around them? Or did he just dump it on his own?
I believe it was Fluffy. He was fighting with Fluffy Dave, but obviously coming around turn 1 in this game is a little more difficult than the previous year, as Chazaraz and Sean Moriarty still going side by side, battling it out for that P9 spot. Chazaraz gets out in front, and Sean Moriarty has to elect to stay behind now. But anyways, like I was saying, that turn 1 is a little bit more slippery than it was in previous years. And having that little bit of slipperiness can add up, especially with some worn tires, the dirty air, all of it all adds up. He easily could have gotten loose. We'll have to ask him after the race.
He's catching the Williams ahead right here. Looks like he's going to make an overtake, but I want to switch up to the front because it looks like Becky B's getting very close to Cody Lawrence there for P1. Looking at the chat as well, I see a few commenters out there, excuse me. Happy birthday to Greg, and thank you for the follows to T-Fan and Swifty Salmon as well. As we see the Williams of Becky B definitely closing in on Cody Lawrence, but Creamy Johns is well in tow here.
I was gonna say Red Hornet unfortunately spun it out at Stowe once again. He's the back of the field, really just not enjoying today's race. But yes, Becky B doing a great job. He is maintaining pace with Cody Lawrence, and also, and more importantly, keeping Creamy Johns behind. As I believe Double OT has spun it at turn 1 again.
He has. I see that.
Yes, and also I will also second the happy birthday to Greg. I don't know you, but happy birthday. Always nice to see. There's action going on everywhere. Chazaraz up into P8, making up time on Fluffy Dave, Aliamoto, and Sean Moriarty, as well as Rogue, Bruda, Stody. All of them, all in a train, following just so close together, coming through cops. And just, I mean, it's really cool to see. We effectively have 3 DRS trains. We have the front 3, you have the following 4, and then the following, I believe, 5, 6 after that. And just, they're all just in a line.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. There was an overtake there between Perpetual Rain and Godzilla, or actually holding steady. I believe Perpetual Rain was already in P4 there, so just holding on to that position as they jockey a bit for P4 there. And looking around the order, everybody is so close. You jump down to P13 and you got 5 drivers all within the same corner. Just brilliant racing here tonight. 6 laps in. After we had a wet qualifying, we now have a dry race out here. And I think we're going to see a treat here as we're going to have different strategies going on. But the top... Oh, and a bit of a spin there from Creamy Johnson. So I was just on board with the overhang of Becky B. Caught that one and he lost nearly 0.6 of a second due to that. That's massive for Creamy Johns as these softs are going to begin to fall off a bit.
Yep, I apologize. I was paused there, getting Yoda back into the game. Down there in P19, unfortunate for him, but hopefully the best. Obviously, if a safety car happens, anything could happen. But man, oh man, is this fight really intensifying. I mean, Jamie Lawrence really putting the pressure on Fluffy Dave, who's putting the pressure on Godzilla. And just really getting close. I mean, as I get another telemetry glitch there, I'm not seeing anybody's time.
Yeah, Godzilla, I actually have the same thing going on here. Nice telemetry glitch there. But Godzilla in P5 there hunting down the P4. As you said, we now have time penalties for Rogue going on. I believe, where is Rogue at on track right now? Just behind this battle. Richie for the follow. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And yes, we do have EU. We have 4 tiers in EU. And jump on in on the website, PPResports.com, to fill out your sign-in or sign-up sheet and get racing with us.
Yes, obviously, Richie, I'm waiting for a comment that you always seem to throw my way whenever I am streaming. And you said Kurbssy, but not me. I feel almost as thought that Jamie Lawrence and Godzilla battling it out side by side, getting just the best camera angles here. They are still side by side. Godzilla getting the toe, but Jamie Lawrence doing a great job of keeping that inside line. And yes, Jamie Lawrence holding, well, actually improving up into that P5 spot. Godzilla now on the hunt. Can Jamie Lawrence stay inside this DRS range? It will really help him out in defending from Godzilla. And there is also the comment there from Richie. Thank you, Richie.
Yeah, Richie's one of the all-time greats. Absolutely love having Richie around. One of the fastest drivers I've seen as well, just on raw pace. Becky B still within 0.5 of Cody Lawrence. I'm wondering if he might be a bit quicker here, or if both drivers are just managing pace this brilliantly. Because you have to realize that Cody Lawrence has had to defend from this DRS this whole time, but he's still managing his ERS in a great way. You can see he's still got a bunch left there. So for him to be holding off, we can see Becky B not using any. So obviously not on attack as much. Obviously, this is us just assuming, right? We don't want to give the drivers too much information here, but
yeah, obviously. We can make guesses and other such informed opinions about certain things. Obviously, I race, Kurbssy is raced. Kurbssy has been commentating for a while. We understand the game, and still at that point, you're always learning stuff. You're always, some of these, the strategy calls and everything that these drivers do sometimes just blows you away. It catches you by surprise. and it just kind of throws your mind for a loop. But Becky B doing a great job of staying up with Cody Lawrence, and really right now is actually Sabam retired in the pit lane as well. I almost feel as if Creamy Johns and Becky B, they're far enough ahead that they really don't have to worry about Creamy Johns. They can just run their race. They're not going to be making too many attempts. They can make an attempt to overtake if the possibility arrives. Obviously, like if Becky B is close to Cody Lawrence out of a DRS zone or something like that. But I don't really expect them to throw any just ill-advised attempts at an overtake and ruin their race. We're still really early into this. There's a lot of time left in this race.
Yeah, I can't see either of these drivers going for a crazy lunge, but I'm waiting for one of them to do it as I see a battle going on right now for P9. Sean Moriarty defending from Mamamoto, although Sean Moriarty was well behind Mamamoto not too long ago and is now caught up, and he's on those softs that you would think would be fading off at the moment, but he's still holding on tight as Becky B holding on even closer there. Rogue, another driver getting involved in a battle here, and let's see, is he going to go for a switchback maneuver on the two drivers in front, the Haas and the Williams, who are usually at the back of the pack, find themselves in the midfield right now here with Rogue, the number 22 AlphaTauri. Let's see if he gets a good run down the straight here. It's going to be attacks from both sides on the Williams as the Williams tries to get out of the way. The Haas almost gets in the way of the AlphaTauri there and now has to double defend. Is he going to get back through to that P8 position? Almost drops down, and it's actually for P9. Sean Moriarty sneaks up there, and look how close Rogue is to this P10 position now. This is brilliant racing.
Just absolute intensity here throughout this middle pack. I mean, at one point at the start of this lap, each one of these drivers were almost exactly 2/10 away from the driver in front.
Oh, what's going on for Perpetual Rain? He's off. The Ferrari is off, which is promoted Godzilla up into P5, Jamie into P4, and now he's dropped all the way down the order, finds himself even behind the battle we were watching there with Rogue, Sean, and Mamamoto there as he goes around the outside here. It's going to be a three-way battle again for this PA position. The Williams finds himself ahead. Now it's too wide in front with the AlphaTauri behind trying to sneak through here. Can he find the right position? He's going to sneak up the inside of Club here. Is he going to hold off on Sean Moriarty? They're going to go side by side across the line here, and it's still going to be side by side going into the first corner. No, the AlphaTauri sneaks in behind the Haas there, and brilliant pace from all of these drivers.
Just absolute masterclass overtaking right now going on in this midfield section. Aliamoto really getting a good run around the outside of Stowe, and Rogue almost getting the move done on Sean Moriarty again through the first section. He's going to get a good run through this DRS, but Sean Moriarty also has the DRS getting in front, in front of that Williams car. Can the AlphaTauri get there? He's going to try around the outside. Oh, is this going to be closer? There is a yellow flag in Sector 1. Shabam, unfortunately, left the session. Just absolute masterclass driving from all of these individuals. Rogue under 2/10 from the car in front. This is so tight.
Yeah, and look at this. Stoney catching up to the back of that pack here. He's got a Ferrari behind him. That's Perpetual Rain, who's a very quick driver who's challenging for the top 4 positions in this race. Look for him to make a name for himself in this battle. Sean Moriarty picks up a time penalty there as he goes off. And look, it's going to be the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri going side by side down the back straight here into one of these final corners here. We have great battling side by side for 2 positions right now. The Red Bull.
Bono's going around the outside again. Williams with a tremendous move around the outside and switch back from the Haas to Sean Moriarty. Oh boy, how has there not been an accident involving these cars yet? This is Carnage. Ruda retired from the session as well in the pits, unfortunately.
Oh, and here goes Sean right up the inside of the Williams there. A brilliant overtake once again. They are just battling back and forth for positions right now. The Red Bull now challenging with the Williams here, but the Williams putting the pressure on Sean Moriarty as they come through the first sector. Arena 4 and 5 here. It's going to be down the Brooklands. What can they do in this DRS? Go ahead.
I apologize. So much going on. 3 wide now coming. Oh man, this is intense. There was a Red Bull that fell off. That was Shay B, but these 3 are still just battling it out. Sean Moriarty defending from the Red Bull of Stoney, who's also defending from Rogue. Aliamoto was able to escape just a little bit for now, but for how long until this 4-car just, I don't even know what to call it at this point. It's almost like, I don't want to say gladiators. That's Biggles things over in another league. but just tremendous battling from all of these cars. And boy, this is intense.
Yeah, it's a Polar Express right now, really. The train just keeps going, and as we see Perpetual Rain catching up to the rear, he's now only 4/10 off of Rogue, as we see the Williams going up the inside of Sean once again there. And there's Stoney off there as they go through the corner of, so was that going to be Stowe there?
Oh.
They wreck out at least one of the drivers involved here. That's Stoney losing it there. Rogue, Sean Moriarty, Mamamoto, and Perpetual Rain stay in tune with the battling they had going on. And boy, this is racing.
Yeah, I'm totally speechless.
Oh, and somebody's dropped down. Hold on. Oh, we have pitters.
Pits. Yeah, pits. Boxers. Godzilla Chazaraz first to pit. Well, I guess not first. Second to pit. I've been just keeping an eye on this battle for P6 at this point. Can we even catch a break? There is a yellow flag, as that is Mach Speed, I do believe. Spun out there at Cops, waiting on everybody. We'll see if he gets spun back around and good to go. Jamie Lawrence also making a fight for P4 now, following Fluffy Dave here through Maggots and Beckett's. He will have the DRS to his advantage. Can he get the run? And obviously the fight going on behind him between Aliamoto, Sean Moriarty, Rogue, and Perpetual Rain still rages on. And so many overtakes. I really don't know what's going to come out of this race today.
As I see Perpetual Rain looks to be going, looked like he was making a move around the outside there, but Rogue has cut it off. And we can see Sean Moriarty and Mamamoto there still battling up front. Sean Moriarty dives off into the pits, which is going to release the Williams, AlphaTauri, and Ferrari to battle alone for the moment. For the first time in many, many laps here, the leader's still out right now. Creamy John's losing a lot of time there. He's also got a 3-second time penalty to fend with as well. Out of all those time penalties, Godzilla, the only one with a 5-second time penalty that he picked up earlier on in this race. Fluffy Dave still sitting there in P4, though it looks like a pretty decent race so far for the Mercedes team. How about Jamie Lawrence and Fluffy Dave going at it, though? Fluffy Dave just got around on this past lap here, and they'll still be battling for a bit. It looks like they've caught up to Creamy Johns within the last few moments, and they're still side by side there, the Williams and the AlphaTauri. I can't believe it, Burlsy.
Yeah, I was getting ready to cut you off until you brought notice to it. And Aliamoto really tried to defend from Rogue. I'm sure there's a lot of ERS being deployed right now. Who's going to come out in front at Cops? It appears that it's going to be Aliamoto hanging off from Rogue and Perpetual Rain. The DRS could really be a big thing. Oh my goodness, under a 10th between the Williams and AlphaTauri car. Just so much trust in these drivers. And really, what is going to come out of this DRS range? You can see there that Rogue fell off just a little bit, but coming up quick right now, and the Williams driver going to the outside into Stowe and around the outside. Massive contact is Aliamoto is spun around. Oh man, that is huge for the Williams driver. We'll see if he goes into the pits. No, he will not. There's 13 laps left in this race and just carnage everywhere.
Yeah, brilliant racing there. Sorry about that, bros. Yeah, I was tuned out for a moment, but I did catch the tail end of that wreckage there, and you just have to assume that's bound to happen. But remember, we do have the safety car turned off as kind of a test subject almost because of some issues that it was bringing on in some of the earlier races. But I can see now, looking at the bottom, a lot of drivers retiring, as we saw in the chat, due to the safety car not being enabled. So I wonder how that's going to work out, as the Ferrari and AlphaTauri still going side by side here, really battling it out here. And this has shades of Bottas and Hamilton a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I don't even know exactly where to go at this point in terms of what battles to look at. Becky B and Cody Lord still hanging on out in front. Yes, I do know what you mean by zoning out a little bit. Sometimes when I don't speak as well, it just kind of all goes away.
Williams
Becky B
into the pit
for the undercut. Oh, that could come into play. Becky B making a late choice to go into that pit box and going for this undercut. Will it affect him at the end of the race, being on slightly older tires? That is something to keep an eye out for. Rogue still electing to stay out. We'll see if he comes into the pits. Yes, he does. He is the last soft runner. And we'll see, yes, into the pits now. Who is another battle going on? Chazaraz gaining on Red Hornet. for P12 going around the outside. Those newer medium tires trying to keep on those old medium tires.
So take a look here. It was a 7-second gap between Becky B and Creamy Johns before Becky B had pitted there. I'm just wondering where they're going to line up at the moment. Let's see. 3, 5. And it looks about the same. Maybe advantage Becky B after the pit stops there. And he's going to be on the soft, so a bit quicker here as well.
Yeah, it really depends on if Shay B can test this too much or not. Becky B did have the DRS out of the pits, so that really helped them out getting out of the dirty air. Those soft tires, so much more grip than these old medium tires. You can see there that he is using it to perfection, almost a second and a half out of one turn, essentially, that he gained on Shay B. And we'll see where he comes out. Is Cody Lawrence now covering the undercut going into the pits. We'll see where he comes out. I'm going to keep an eye on that one.
Absolutely. As I see Jamie Lawrence, as you had just mentioned, going in, it's a beautiful car, and I love to see it. The Aston Martin of Jamie there going into the pit. Where's his teammate at that had spun a couple times? Double OT back into the top 10 here, but he needs to pit in this race as well. As I jump around, we still have a lot of runners that need to go in, including the leader who's pitting now. And coming out, where's he going to be lined up with Becky B? It's going to be close between these two. Did the undercut work? As we see Becky B coming through here, did he get the overtake done? They're going to be side by side, and I can't believe it. Becky B and Cody Lawrence going at it now for the lead of this race. Becky B has come out on top. The undercut has worked, Burlsy.
The undercut paid off for the Williams car. But now the Alfa Romeo has the DRS. He's not electing to overtake just yet and catch back up. I think he's going to play the game of just sitting behind Becky B and making sure he can fight late into this race and really go for an attack when those tires start to wear off. Whew, there is other battles going on now. The Aston Martin, like you said, a double OT is 4/10 back from Shay B, both on old medium tires. Also, the fight for P8 between Chazaraz and Godzilla still goes on. Those two have been neck and neck basically from the start, as well as Rogue on Perpetual Raid. Those are your battles to keep an eye out for as of right now. Cody Lawrence coming down, though. He's going to go for the outside move around Becky B. And it looks like he gets the early move done. Cody Lawrence comes out on top in front of Becky B around Stowe. And that is Cody Lawrence back into the lead of this race.
That is Cody Lawrence into the lead. What an overtake there, and that's really where it counts. You know, you follow a driver for a long time, it shows that you two have this similar pace, but can you get through? Cody Lawrence just proved that he can, and he'll do it again if he needs to, is what I think he's saying there to Becky B.
Yeah, we'll see if Becky B elects to come back at Cody Lawrence now, as both of these drivers are on the soft tires. There is only 10 laps left in this race, so time is ticking. And I don't think Becky B is going to come after him just quite yet. Not enough there down that straight. But still, I mean, this battle is going to go on until the last lap. I can definitely contest that both of these drivers are really good drivers and tremendous at their racecraft and holding alongside other vehicles. So I expect some really, really good battles out of these two.
I just want to throw a quick shout out there as well to Cody Blanton, one of the drivers who made me aware of the pace that Cody Lawrence has. Cody Blanton, probably not a name that many are familiar with because he's in the ACC world and absolutely tearing it up, but he was a former racer in the F1 world along Cody Lawrence. As here goes Becky B showing the nose up the inside, not quite attacking there, but again, shout out to Blanton for showing me the pace that Cody Lawrence has here.
Yeah, Cody Lawrence really taking the fight to Becky B. We didn't see a whole lot of it. Actually, we did see these two going at it at Bahrain when they were on the medium tires after that safety car. As Cody Lawrence set the fastest lap of the session so far, 5/10 difference between these two.
Oh, how about Jamie closing in? He's actually overtaking Creamy John's there for P3 in this race. And Jamie Lawrence now sitting on a podium, but he needs to get 5 seconds clear of Creamy John's as he has 2 penalties to fend off, a 5-second and a 3-second. So if he can widen that gap to P4, he could be on for a podium result here in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, Jamie Lawrence on those soft tires, electing for that alternate strategy. Creamy John's electing not to go for the inside move there at turn 7. Or is that 6? I don't remember exactly. I don't have the map up to remember it. Well, right off the top of my head. But yeah, Jamie Lawrence still out in front. He has the grip on those medium tires. Well, Jamie Lawrence is on the softs. I'm talking about the medium tires on Creamy John's. He has significantly more grip in those soft tires. Can he use it to his advantage to drop Creamy John's out of the DRS and make his life just a little bit easier?
Sean Moriarty and Mamamoto going at it again here. There goes Mamamoto, who just had passed Sean Moriarty there. Moriarty trying to fight back against the Williams here. Will we see an attack through Maggots and Beckett's here? Not exactly an overtaking opportunity, but it is an opportunity to put on pressure to the driver in front. And here goes Sean. He's going to be on the attack now. He's taking a wider line here. He's on the medium tires. Mamamoto on the softs here. You can see the pace that this Haas has as he's closing in. Will he attack? And let's see here from Sean Moriarty in the Haas. He's going around the outside of the Williams there. Not quite. There's an Aston Martin quite close as well. That's OOT trying to close in on this battle. And as we dump into Vale, and who do we have off there? It's one of the Ferraris, and I'm worried that might be Perpetual Rain again.
There's Red Hornet.
Okay.
Spun it out there at Maggots and Beckett's. But still, these fights are all over the place, and they provide so much action for us to cover. Still, Becky B holding on close to Cody Lawrence, as well as Creamy John's holding on to Jamie Lawrence. Both Lawrences, no relation, still holding off the people that they are getting attacked from. Sean Moriarty trying to chase down, actually getting passed by OOT there. Those medium tires are really not helping Sean Moriarty here in this latter stint of the race, as he has dropped another place between him and Aliamoto. This 4-car train is back at it again after the pit stops.
And the leaders of this race looked like they were getting close, but how about that battle right now? It's a 3-way battle all of a sudden, and look at that, it's going to be Jamie Lawrence went around the outside of Creamy John's after Creamy John's dumped it up the inside, and now they're jockeying back and forth between Vale and Club here, and going through Club, you know the rear is going to slide out a bit, but they managed the grip well, and Fluffy Dave is now all over his teammate, who is even closer to Jamie Lawrence here. 3 Mercedes-powered cars here, the Aston Martin leading the way of these 3. That's the first time I've said that in ages. And Jamie Lawrence trying to clear the gap between the drivers behind. Now all of a sudden he's got to worry about Chazarez Gabi as well.
I was going to say the teammate of Jamie Lawrence, OOT, unfortunately spun it out at Vale again. I'm not sure if there was contact. I think there might have been, because Aliamoto was waiting for him and gave that spot back to him. But that takes 2 cars out of the previous 4-car train that we had. And almost, I don't want to say effectively ruins their race with this no safety car, but anytime you spin and there's not a safety car, it really hampers your performance. Creamy John's still trying to attack Jamie Lawrence, his teammate Fluffy Dave just behind him as well, as we have a 3-car battle here for P3 and a 2-car battle for the lead, with Becky B still getting just ever so much closer to Cody Lawrence, keeping inside that. Oh, as Aliamoto is retired.
Oh, and look at this, it's going to be 3 wide. 3 wide now as 2 Mercedes get past the Aston Martin there, both at the same time, and it almost seemed like Jamie had just backed out of that one a bit to avoid any type of contact. Now he needs to be on the attack to get away from Chazarazi Gabi there and Godzilla alike, because he has those time penalties to worry about. He needs to stay 5 seconds clear of the McLaren behind to hold on to his P5. And all of a sudden, it's not looking as good as it once was for Jamie Lawrence here.
Yeah, those penalties are really going to come into play at the end of this race. Jamie, he needs to get in front of these Mercs and pull away from them. Creamy John's right now out in front of this little 3-car pile on those older medium tires. They're 6 laps old, whereas Fluffy Dave and Jamie Lawrence are effectively on the same tire. 3 and 4 laps respectively between those two cars, and this could really hamper Jamie Lawrence's of getting a podium situation.
I'm looking around to see if any other drivers are really going to contest for more positions here. Taking a look at the tires, it doesn't seem like any massive strategy differences in the last 5 laps are going to cause much of a concern for anybody out there on track. Looks like everything is normal, but Fluffy Dave with just what seems to be a bit more pace, there he goes up into the podium positions, overtakes Creamy Johns easily there, and I think that's actually intelligent from the two Mercedes drivers. Just swap positions there and let the softer runner go out ahead and see what he can do on those tires there as he has a bit more grip. Jamie Lawrence just behind here. He has the pace to push just a bit harder here. Can he do it though? That's really the main question. And here is the biggest question of the night. Who will win out of these two drivers? Becky B and Cody Lawrence just back and forth here, both saving up all of the energy that they can for the final 4 laps of this race.
Yeah, now something that comes to mind is there team orders that play between Creamy Johns and Fluffy Dave, because with Fluffy Dave out in front, he is on the softer tires. Now, as long as Creamy Johns can stay with him, he will get that.
Oh,
DRS.
time penalty!
What's going
A 3-second time penalty for Creamy Johns. So that's going to throw him off the tail of Fluffy Dave, right in tune with what you were saying, Burlsy.
Yeah, I totally missed that 3-second penalty, but anyways, I was going to say that DRS between Fluffy Dave and Creamy Johns, as long as Creamy Johns can stay with his teammate, that'll significantly help him in defending from Jamie Lawrence behind him. Aliamoto leaving the session. But yes, Jamie Lawrence really actually not looking so hot as of now. He needs to get by Creamy Johns and get back up there to Fluffy Dave. There is the penalty situation, but anything can happen. There's so much left. Well, there's not a whole lot left in this race. I just realized we're on lap 22 already. 23. That is. And this race just blew by, I feel like.
It did. We have an unfortunate amount of DNFs tonight. Remember, as I mentioned earlier on, the safety car not enabled for this race, so I think a lot of drivers might be thinking, I could have benefited from a safety car, but I don't think there's been any incidents, knock on wood, that would have caused one, Burlsy.
Yeah, not a whole lot there. It's actually the Creamy Johns. No, I actually just now got the thing saying that Creamy Johns picked up a 3-second penalty. That was weird.
That was exactly a lap ago, if you're wondering.
I had to alt-tab, but when I came back, that showed up. So I was almost worried there that Creamy Johns got another 3-second time penalty. I was trying to get a prediction started, but I wasn't able to.
Oh, no worries at all. Thank you for the follow, Brummy Dan. Appreciate that one. As we're watching the battle for the lead right now, it's Becky B and Cody Lawrence going at as we go on board with the Alfa Romeo, which I've mentioned it every stream so far, and I will continue to do so until it gets the proper recognition that it deserves. The Alfa Romeo looks absolutely brilliant this year. Just a bit more metallic red. It looks phenomenal.
I absolutely love the look of that car, and nice little touch with the clover, I do believe that was on there as well. But yes, that metallic red just fit that much better. And it really wasn't that big of a change, but it was enough to really kind of just make that impression on you. I saw there Becky B sneaking a little move down the inside, trying to, at Stowe, just trying to pressure Cody Lawrence into a mistake as we are rounding down the time left in this race. And Becky B's really got to get a move on. I think he might be going for a move here down the inside. No, he elects to stay behind Cody Lawrence. And Becky B still in P2. Cody Lawrence still leading this race. 3 laps left.
Yeah, Becky B dumping it out of the dirty air there, showing the nose up the inside of Cody Lawrence there, not attacking just yet. But they really haven't been this close as Creamy John's dropping down the order to Jamie Lawrence. Now, if Jamie Lawrence clears Creamy by 2 seconds, he will be able to hold on to that P4 there, I believe, as long as he's outside of 5 seconds from Chazaraz. Chazaraz could be on for a decent result, though, if he holds on to the rear of Creamy a bit. And there's going to be a lot of moving around at the end of this race because of the penalties that we see out there. Maybe not as much as we see. Cody Lawrence and Becky B just went side by side there. No overtake just yet. And let's see as Becky B slots in behind once again here. I'll tell you what already, Burlsy.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to interviews.
I was going to say, Creamy Johns just went down the inside of Jamie Lawrence. That is P4 back for Creamy Johns. Yes, I'm looking forward to these interviews. There's so much action going on, so many battles. I really want to hear from these drivers. And I don't think I can get words out of my mouth fast enough to just prove that Becky B, he's running out of time. He's got to get a move done and make sure it is clean to keep Cody Lawrence behind.
Yeah, you have to realize that there's 1.5 laps left now, right? As he goes around the outside, and the Williams there, is he going to have enough pace? It's going to be the inside of the next corner there. Becky B's going to be the leader, but not for long, as here comes Cody Lawrence up the inside. They're going to be side by side as they go through the old pit straight here, and this is absolutely brilliant racing for the lead of the race on lap 25 of 26. Here goes up the inside the Alfa Romeo. They're side by side, the Williams and Alfa Romeo absolutely battling it out. Going up and towards Maggots and Beckett's here. It's going to be the Alfa Romeo settling in behind the Williams here. And Burlsy, what brilliant racing we've seen.
Yeah, side by side for all that is always brilliant. Cody Lawrence has the DRS. He's coming back at Becky B. He's going to get Becky B cleared into the corner. Oh, we are shaping up for a fantastic last lap. Becky B really setting it around the outside with Cody Lawrence setting to back up the inside there the next turn. And Cody Lawrence stays out on top for this start of the last lap. Yes, we are already on the last lap.
Are you kidding me? They battled from turn number 6 until turn number 18. I cannot believe it. We're on the last lap now. Becky B has one last ditch effort to go for it here, but I know Becky B is going to be trying to just hold on to points here as well. Everyone wants a race win, but you don't want to dump all of your chances at a good haul of points for one win. Or am I speaking way too rationally here? As here goes the Williams attacking the Alfa Romeo again out the outside. It's going to be the same maneuver, but not enough pace this time around. Cody Lawrence holds on to the lead, and now Becky B has to find a different way around the Alfa Romeo here. There is absolutely nothing that will change me from switching off to this battle. This is the most brilliant race we could ask for, the most brilliant lap we could ask for. It's Cody Lawrence and Becky B going at it on the final lap of Silverstone. Here in week 2 of PPR season 5 through Maggots and Beckett's. Becky B all over the rear of Cody Lawrence here. Can he attack him through the final DRS straight as Cody dumps a tire into the grass there? Here comes the DRS attack from Becky B. He's going to go around the outside. And here he goes through Stowe here around the outside. They're going to be side by side, jumping down into the final portion of this track, side by side, into the Vale chicane. And there's going to be Cody Lawrence ahead here. They're still going to be ahead. It's all going to come down to Club Corner. Cody Lawrence is going to be ahead by just an inch as they go through Club. It's going to be a photo finish across the line. Cody Lawrence has won by 2/100ths of a second. Are you kidding me?
Oh, man, what absolute tremendous racing. I feel like I should say on top of some tremendous commentating there. Cody Lawrence comes out with a tremendous victory and tremendous just defending to keep Becky B behind him. That was tremendous. Oh, I can't even say tremendous enough. I'm speechless as to what just happened. What an ending to this race.
Are you kidding me right now? Is this real life? My voice just went from 26 years old to 2 years old in a matter of moments. This brilliant racing that we saw between Cody and Becky B, it better be here to stay. I am absolutely in love with it. My heart rate, I should say, I think went up to about 200 beats per minute. And Chazarezi Gabby there did go up into P4, just FYI. That was a good jump for him as he jumped Creamy Johns and Jamie Lawrence there. Jamie Lawrence down to P6 out of that. Godzilla P7, Perpetual Rain in P8. What a race!
That was insane. I second whatever you said. I'm looking forward to these interviews. That was unbelievable. I'm almost speechless. A well-deserved victory for some idiot, aka Cody Lawrence, on the top step of that podium here at Silverstone. What a race.
And here are all 3 Americans celebrating on the podium. You love to see it. All representing teams not from America here. Brilliant, though, from the F1 PC guys in PPR Esports North America division. And there is the race results. Go ahead and take us through it, Burlsy, if you have them up.
Yeah. Cody Lawrence, phenomenal victory for him in the Alfa Romeo squad. Putting Becky B in the second position. Fluffy Dave rounding out that podium. Chazarach jumping up into P4 with some late penalty situation there. Creamy Johns will be your P5. Followed by Jamie Lawrence, Godzilla, Perpetual Rain, Rogue, and Double OT. That will round out your points. Stoney, Sean Moriarty, Shay B, and Red Hornet all were your last finishers of the race. Alia Mamoto, Jesus. That name will get me every time. Mock Speed, Ruda, Shabam, Yoda, and Seajoss all will be your DNFs for today's race. Everybody stick around. We got some great interviews coming up.
Yeah, we'll be right back with interviews from a brilliant Grand Prix at Silverstone.
Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. After just, I'm speechless. A speechless ending to that race. I mean, Cody Lawrence, Becky B fighting it out across the line, a photo finish. Cody, we're gonna go on board with you first. You came out on top. You pretty much led almost every lap of that race. Talk us through it. Talk us through the fending from Becky B. I mean, just everything.
Oh man, I pretty much after lap 2 to 3, because I knew if I didn't break DRS early, it was going to be a fight in the final 2 laps. Like, couldn't break that, so I knew for those like 22, 23 laps we had in between that it was going to come down to those final 2 laps, and I was trying a bunch of different things, just getting ready, seeing what the car was capable of, seeing what Becky was doing, seeing what things I could do to be able to fight at the end of the race. And then we came down to those final 2 laps. I had to take all the lessons I learned from those in-between laps, just being prepped and ready for 2 laps sprint at the end. I saved up my whole battery, most of my whole battery. I know Becky was about full battery the whole time, but like, that was insane. I don't know how it looked on your guys' point of view, but from the driver's seat, it was something else, I tell you.
Well, I do know that I had a great view to end that race out. Now, Cody, how are you feeling? You took the second race of the year, I guess of the season. How are you feeling going ahead in the rest of the season?
We'll see what happens. Like, I'm not sure how many races I'm going to be able to make, because I know basically I'm in university right now, so the different commitments may come up as I go on. That's why I'm a reserve. I just want to be, like, if I can race, I can race. If I can't, I can't. We'll see how many more of these races I can do. But tonight was really fun. I had to put a lot of the race experience I've had in the past to try to hang on at the end there. Full respect to Becky at the end. He gave plenty of space. I tried to be every bit as clean as he was to me. So that, like, full respect to Becky, and that was a heck of a race.
Cheers, Cody.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move over to that voice you just heard, and that is Becky B. Becky, there was just less than 300ths of a second separating you and Cody from, well, to decide that P1, P2. What was that race like for you? I guess not. I don't want to say unfamiliar territory here in this league, because last week you guys, I believe, were fighting it out, and you came out on top. This week, Cody comes out on top. How was that race for you?
Honestly, that like Cody said, that was some of the most fun I've had. Definitely on this game in league racing. Last season in the last game, I saw a lot of the back of Cody's car, so I was kind of used to what I was seeing. But it was honestly quite relaxed. I was having a lot of fun, just pumping in laps and saving my battery and just kind of relaxing and waiting for my opportunity. I went for the undercut, it worked, and he came right back at me and got me back, so I was just, all right, here we go again. Saved some more battery and was biding my time until the end of the race to try to go for it. And he definitely had his battery saved up and did some amazing defensive driving to hold me off there. I tried to leave as much space as I could. I know he's a clean driver, and I think he knows that I am too, so a lot of respect there, and maybe a little bit too much in that last lap. Maybe it would have been the other way around, but nonetheless, super fun race. Happy with the podium, happy with the P2, and see what happens next week.
All right, and I'm going to probably go ahead and ask you the same question. Obviously, you came out strong in both these first two races, and how are you feeling about the rest of the season, maybe even a little driver's championship?
Yeah, I think, obviously I think I have a chance to win the championship. Honestly, I'm just looking to get the most out of every race, go race by race, have fun, make sure I'm having fun with it, and putting in the best drives I can. And if it happens, it happens. Just got to try to get the best result I can each race, and the points will come, and maybe the championship. We'll see.
All right, great answer from you. We're gonna move over to the P3 spot. That is Fluffy Dave. Fluffy, you didn't get to quite see that on-track battle there at the end, but you had plenty of battles nonetheless between, I believe, it was Creamy Johns and Jamie Lawrence. How were those? Oh, how was that race for you? I was pretty sure you were in battles for just about every lap of that race.
Yes, good evening, everybody. It was a pretty clean race for myself. Didn't get the best of qualifying, mess up my lap, but managed to recover to P3 and very happy with the results. I think, yeah, I can be very content with how it ended for me. It wasn't battle throughout all of the laps. There are some quiet moments where I'm just by myself, but I'm just happy that I went pretty clean.
All right. How did you feel about your tire strategy today? And effectively, I mean, we saw a lot of people choosing the alternate strategy. I believe you were defending from an alternate strategy, if I'm correct. I apologize if I'm wrong. You can clarify that, but how did you feel about that? Could you have switched things up and maybe even improved your position?
I don't think so. Medium soft definitely was the faster strategy. If you look at Creamy, he started on softs and he didn't get a good first stint on the tires. So medium soft definitely better. But I was the last one, I think, to come down into the pits on lap 16. So I think it was Capita, Jamie Lawrence, I think it was, who undercut me. But I had a better race pace, so still managed to get him at the end.
All right. Yeah, that was. I don't even have words to describe the race that we just watched. Kurbssy, do you have any questions to ask these guys before we head out for the night?
No, I don't think so. I think you handled it. I want to say a big congratulations to the 3 podium sitters there and to everybody else who participated tonight. Fluffy Dave, great overtake in the last 10 laps or so to get up there into the podium positions. Cody and Becky B, absolute dominance there up in P1 and P2. The brilliant racing that we saw there, I hope to see time and time again. I know that Cody said he might not be able to make every single week here, but I think any week he's not here is just unfair to us all, Cody. And I want to just express that along to you.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say congrats to Dave on P3. He's one of my good friends. I've been racing with him for a long time. I'm happy to see him up on the podium. So
Oh, thank
congrats,
you.
Dave. Happy
Thank
for
you.
you.
Yeah, definitely was an enjoyable race.
Awesome. We love to hear it there. All right, well, there you have it. There's the interviews, there's the race, and there's another week done here at the North America, well, all of America's actually, PPR Season 5, Round number 2, brought to you from Silverstone by myself, that being Kurbssy, and daBurls, who brought you some brilliant broadcasting there, as well as the interviews at the end. So thank you very much for everybody here joining us tonight. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. Take care, everyone.